There were a total of 7 matches in this week's Deadlock night shift, and out of which 4 matches were in Europe and 3 were from NA. I hope you are able to understand the sheet. I added percentages to show the weight of the picks. So let's first talk about picks and bans. Billy, Doorman and Mina were banned 4 times, followed by Yamato, who was banned 3 times. Billy was banned only in Europe, and that too, he was banned 100% of the matches. So he was banned mainly by Leviathan team. It seems they did not want to play against Billy at all, while on the other hand, NA actually never banned Billy at all. But Doorman is the complete opposite. He was banned only once in Europe, while he was banned in all 3 matches in NA. So it seems NA did not want to play against Doorman. So it is interesting, right, to see each region's thought process and hero priorities. And Mina was the only hero who was banned equally in both EU and NA. So it seems everyone agrees she is kind of OP right now. This was all about bans. When it comes to picks, Viscous was the most picked hero. He got drafted 7 times. And again, I think if you remember, DNS this week had a total of 7 matches. So he was picked in all of the matches in Deadlock night shift. And all the players went for a bullet heavy build. After Viscous, we have Abrams, Lash, Page, Paradox and Shiv. Abrams and Shiv were the hot frontliners. Abrams was never banned, by the way, but he was picked 6 times out of 7 matches. So that is saying something about Abrams. Whereas Shiv was immediately picked if he was not banned. So if you look at the percentage, you can clearly see, right, like in both NA and EU, he was either banned or first picked immediately. So yeah, Shiv is definitely strong. So yeah, this was all about picks and bans. Let's actually talk how the finals played out. I will tell you the highlights. I'm not talking about semi-finals, but if you're also interested in semi-finals, tell me about it. I will include it from the next time onwards. So let's start with EU. Abrahams versus Leviathan finals first match. Early game, Together and Taz put good amount of pressure with Yamato and Doorman combo. Osis was playing Geist and he was paired with Paradox, but even though Geist is a very strong laner, she actually couldn't keep up with the pressure from Yamato and Doorman. On the side lane, Shiv and Page matchup was kind of strong actually. So Victor and Kelvin played defensively for most of the match. At around 3 to 4 minute mark, most of the carry players from each team just started farming boxes. And Shiv actually made good rotation in this time to mid lane to actually offload some of the pressure from Yamato and Doorman, and it worked for some time, but eventually after that there was still constant pressure from Yamato and Doorman. So again, Vindicta actually joined the mid lane after some time and they actually took the mid guardian. Simultaneously on the side lane, Shiv and Page both comfortably took the side lane guardian as well. But eventually after some time, by the time we reached mid game, both teams got all of their guardians by mid game. Leviathan tried to take mid boss, but they lost the fight. Kelvin's Dome really helped Abrahams a lot, and also Viscous's Puddle Punch actually did a good amount of damage to Leviathan players. So yeah, Abrahams got the first mid-boss revive buffs. But as they were trying to push the lanes, Leviathan actually ganged up on single lanes and they actually won most of the fights. So all of the reju buffs Abrahams had actually gone before they even expired. And with this benefit, Leviathan actually pushed a side lane and they took that walker successfully with only 1 player down, while Abrahams actually lost 4 players while defending this walker. And after a while, both the teams had another team fight for mid boss, of course, and Abrahams were able to get 1 reju buffs while Leviathan took 2 buffs. It didn't matter actually because they all lost all of the reju buffs immediately, after the fight, but Leviathan did end up with 1 more player than Abrahams, so there was that advantage. And also in this timeline, Paradox's swap was hurting Lash a lot, whenever he was using ultimate and all of those, and knockdown was also played a very important role from Leviathan's side. So that was one thing that I actually noticed. But eventually they were still back and forth, and Abrahams actually tried to push to take the final walker. This started another team fight, but Viscous was unfortunately not there in the team fight, and this resulted in Leviathan actually overwhelming the players from Abrahams, and Leviathan actually won the entire team fight. I mean, yes, Leviathan did lose 1 player, while Abrahams actually lost 5 players. Leviathan, taking this advantage, they tried to get the shrines, but unfortunately they were unsuccessful. But they were able to manage to kill multiple players from Abrahams, and they were able to maintain good amount of pressure. So they tried to take the mid boss. Again, there was another team fight, but Abrahams lost this one. And with the mid-boss buffs, they actually ended the game. So first match went for Leviathan. So match 2 was kind of interesting. Early game, same Yamato plus Page, very good pressure actually. But on the side lane, Pocket plus Warden matchup was just brutal, man. They were playing against Viscous and Abrams, and Viscous and Abrams were unable to do anything. They kept dying, and eventually their lane guardian was gone so fast. And man, it felt awful actually for Leviathan, because again, it was like a one-sided play from the side lane. Pocket and Warden were like demolishing. So again, Leviathan still tried to actually do some good things, but unfortunately the side lane was just gone very quickly, and this resulted in Pocket ganking the mid lane, and they actually took another guardian, and this all happened so quick. And at this point, Warden was already taking good amount of lead in soul count, but Leviathan was still doing great. Holiday's lassos were great. Again, they were the only team who picked Holiday, by the way, and they were doing amazing with Holiday's ultimate. But at this point, Warden was ahead by 20,000 souls. So if he was arriving in a team fight, it was almost going to be winning from Abrams' side. And on top of that, Pocket's affliction was hurting Leviathan a lot. And eventually, mid boss was taken by Abrams. But man, holy shit, because Leviathan defended the base so well. I was completely blown away when I was watching this. They still lost some players, but they did so well, dude. All of the reju buffs from Abraham's side were gone after this team fight, and this was amazing actually. They were down so bad, Leviathan, and they still actually killed a lot of players from Abrams. That was amazing actually. But unfortunately, even with the victory, there was not enough time for Leviathan to actually come back. So because of this, there was unfortunately nothing they could do. There was another mid boss, and Abrams got that mid boss buff, and they ended the game. So let's actually talk about third match. This was the most baffling match of all the matches. For the past 2 matches, almost the same heroes just kept on rotating and again. So it was kind of boring, honestly. This was completely different. There was Bebop, Mo and Krill, and Viper. So this was very unique. And the funny thing was, Lash and Viper were on Abraham's side, while Bebop was on Leviathan. So if you look at the canon, Lash and Viper are always in the same team, while Bebop is in the opposite team, right? So this felt a bit canon. So yeah, let's actually keep that aside and let's start talking about the highlights. From Abraham's side, Abrams and Viper matchup was actually kind of strong. So the mid lane was in their favor. So the first mid boss was taken by Abrams, but again, dude, Leviathan just keeps blowing me away. But they immediately shut down their entire revive buffs. And the surprising part is none of the Leviathan players were dead. Like, all of the players from Leviathan were alive, but they actually shut down all of the buffs, and they actually took some of the players from Abrams in that team fight. Again, they did some amazing plays here. So after this, Abrams tried to take the urn, and they did get the urn. And with this urn, they actually got a sizable lead, and eventually they got mid boss when Leviathan actually lost 1 player. With the soul lead and Leviathan losing 1 team, Abrams actually had an advantage. So yeah, Abrams actually got all of the mid boss buffs, and they pushed the lanes. And again, man, Leviathan just keeps blowing me away. The defense here was kind of insane, honestly. And yeah, unsurprisingly, Leviathan again defended so well. I'm still blown away by this. But yeah, Leviathan actually defeated all the players, even with the rejuve buffs. So they did lose around like 3 or 4 players, but they actually defeated Abrams again. But there was a big problem. Patron, at this point, by the time all of the Abrams players were dead, Patron was around like 10% remaining HP, and there were a lot of troopers. And unfortunately, it seems Leviathan didn't see the troopers, and they didn't do anything to actually kill the troopers. And well, troopers actually just finished the remaining work, so they just defeated the patron. And it was a bit unfortunate from Leviathan's side because they played so well, and at the end, troopers were the one who actually won the game for Abrams. So that was kind of funny and unfortunate as well. But I think, both the teams played amazing, man. Like, there is nothing short to say. Both the teams are amazing, and there is a lot to learn. This was the most fun I had in a long time in Europe. So yeah, so much fun with Europe this time. I think what I learned from looking at Abrams is they are very good at pressuring in laning phase, and also they are very good at picking urn fights. So that's one thing that I learned about Abrams. And when it comes to Leviathan, they are amazing at defense. Like, I don't know how, but they keep on winning these unwinnable scenarios, and that is amazing, dude. Like, Leviathan are so good as well. But yeah, I think I'm very much excited for the next week, because it seems from the leaks what we are getting about the patch, it seems there are going to be new heroes. So a lot of things are definitely going to change. So this was Europe. Let's actually talk about North America. Floorman versus Melee Creeps match 1. I think you already know the spoiler. Melee Creeps did 2-0 Floorman here, but how did Melee Creeps won both the fights? Let's actually talk about that. So in the first match, the surprising pick was Infernus, and I was actually looking closely at Infernus, like what is he going to do, because it seems he's kind of bad because no other team has picked Infernus. And I'm realizing something very cool about Infernus. So Infernus was not targeting Afterburn at all. He was actually trying to max out Dash and also Napalm. So that was his highest priority. And then Infernus actually started maxing out Afterburn. So let's actually talk about the matchup. So Infernus and Kelvin were against Paige and Viscous, and the team synchronization between Infernus and Kelvin was amazing, dude. There was a moment where it kind of blew me away, the team synchronization with Melee Creeps. So Infernus, he was dashing inside trying to stun Paige with his ultimate, and well, she was actually running away, and Viscous can actually cube her, right? But Kelvin actually came in clutch with his ultimate, trapping Paige inside his dome. So now Viscous cannot do anything, because Paige is trapped inside the dome. And on top of that, Infernus actually stunned the Paige with his ultimate. So yeah, Paige was deleted immediately, unfortunately. Now it was a 1v2, right? So unfortunately, Viscous cannot do anything. So with this, Infernus and Kelvin comfortably took the side lane. What I realized looking at Floorman and Melee Creeps is Melee Creeps is very good at team, right? As a team, they are so good at that, while Floorman has some of the best individual players. Like for example here, Melee Creeps were ahead in soul count, so they wanted to take the urn, but unfortunately right now the urn was a comeback urn, so it was in the favor of Floorman. So they actually stopped farming. This is actually a thing in high elo. What they were waiting was for Floorman to farm enough so that the urn actually becomes a normal urn. But Hydration actually just came in clutch. He locked the urn onto himself. So what happened now is the urn just became a comeback urn. So there was no way for them to reset this urn.
Given a bit of farm. Is anyone farming right now? If you're farming, you're cut. If you're farming, you're cut. Look, DMB is not clearing the wave in the left lane.
Bro,
Oh my God.
no, so smart, but he locked it in. Now it is going to be a comeback urn because he picked it up. There's no chance to reset this one to get it as a neutral. So that was actually a very 400 IQ play of Hydration.
Yeah, okay, Hydration. That is actually next level. Because I don't know that they're threatening it. Hold on, Melee Creeps, they might really go for this, right? We talked about this, them being a team that's willing to take that risk and, put the pressure on teams. Say, hey, you better respond to this. We will.
Because of this, Melee Creeps had no other choice. They either have to take this comeback urn, or they have to take it back to their base. And even though Hydration did a very good job in this play, unfortunately it didn't do a lot because Melee Creeps still won the comeback urn team fight. And eventually after this fight, they did get a mid-boss buff, and this resulted in good amount of pressure, but this did not end the game. There was another comeback urn. Again, most of the time Melee Creeps were a lot ahead of Floorman. So unfortunately, there was not enough time for Floorman to catch up with them. So there was another comeback urn, and again, Melee Creeps won that team fight. and they actually started to try to take the mid boss. And actually, Floorman actually did some amazing plays here with Pocket's Affliction and Sinclair's Rabbit Hex. They actually tried to do something, but unfortunately Kelvin's Dome did so much heavy lifting here. It didn't do anything, unfortunately. So all of the rejuve buffs again went to melee creeps and they won the match. So second match was very interesting, mainly because this time we have Haze from melee creeps, and they actually did something very cool with her. So Haze was actually a rotating, like she was basically a gank hero. And on the other hand, from Floorman, League, who was playing Paradox, did amazingly well. Like all of his ultimates and all of his kinetic carbines were hitting every single player. Like this was insane, honestly. And yeah, this time most of the match was just back and forth. Like there was no winner and loser. And Floorman actually initiated the first big team fight, and they got the mid boss buffs in after this team fight. But as they pushed for the final blue walker, they actually lost even with the mid boss buffs. So there was a team fight with melee creeps. Of course, they were trying to defend their walker, and melee creeps actually won. So after this successful team fight, melee creeps didn't give any chance. They actually started pushing the lanes, and they got the patron down to weakened state. They actually started farming, jungling, and they were so far ahead in terms of soul count. Eventually what happened was melee creeps got some good individual kills from Floorman's side, and with this they closed the game. They actually came in and they actually just ended the game without any mid boss buffs, by the way. 10 matches in a row they actually won. That is something praisable, right? Like that is something we have to praise no matter what. But I remember when Hydration was in Hydranation, he was also keep on winning, right? Like at that point it kind of became boring for me to watch DNS. So this is also kind of similar thing. But what I'm noticing is players are learning and they're improving, and there are some good plays. But I think with the next patch we can notice some shift happening. But right now, congratulations to both Abrahams and melee creeps for winning their finals. And also, Floorman and Leviathan, they also did amazing. And even in semi-finals, Loki W and Bunny with Clock also played well. Like all of these pro players are doing amazing, dude. I'm just wondering what the esports scene of Deadlock is going to be. Like Valve has Dota and Counter-Strike, right? And both of these are the biggest esports community. So I really think Deadlock can have very big thing happening, but it also depends on Valve's timing. Like, are they even going to release the patch in this month? There are so many questions. So let's wait and see what is going to happen. But I believe that Deadlock definitely has a bright future when it comes to esports. If you liked this video, consider liking and subscribing. And yeah, if I forgot anything, there was this entire stream was 6 hours. So I couldn't actually just try to, talk about each and everything. That would take me a long time. At that point, I would highly recommend you to just watch the entire stream, because that is far more insightful than me just rambling. But I wanted to give a general highlight, and I hope it was helpful. And yeah, that's it. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, then please consider liking and subscribing. If I forgot anything, or if you have any doubts, or if you want to talk about anything Deadlock related, I would love to talk to you guys. And yeah, that's it. I hope to see you in the next video. Take care of your health, sleep well, and bye bye.